with the understanding that the diversity of this community, as distinct as the bodegas of the Bronx, as beautiful as the blossoms of Miami, and as unique as the breakfast tacos here in San Antonio.
You are a racist, man. You are a racist.
I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be.
Welcome to the show, your one-on-one with Wes the Sports Guy here on YouTube, BitChute, Rumble, and Odyssey, and online all the time at westhesportsguy.com. Bookmark that site if you want to see what my rosters look like for the MLB All-Star Game that will be coming up next week at Dodger Stadium. You can also get my social media links, the podcast link, conveniently located for you at westhesportsguy.com. There's a couple free agent signings I'd like to just go over just briefly this week as we get into the NBA free agency, which is not really winding down, but it's kind of lost its luster for the most part. And I'm not going to talk about Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and everything else that the powers that be and corporate media want to talk about ad nauseum. That's not what I'm here to talk about. The most interesting thing I was looking at with NBA free agency specifically was what was going to happen with Phoenix Suns center DeAndre Ayton, the former number one pick not that long ago for the Phoenix Suns. He's been having a really, really good career so far for them, being the number one overall pick. You would expect that, but I was interested to see what was going to be his destination in free agency. He was not an unrestricted free agent. He is a restricted free agent, meaning that the Phoenix Suns could match any offer that comes down to him, and he has gotten a whopper of an offer, getting a 4-year, $133 million contract offer sheet that he is intending to sign with the Indiana Pacers. Of all franchises in the NBA, the Indiana Pacers are spending money to get DeAndre Ayton. Now, this isn't the first time they've spent money. They've obviously spent money in the past to hold on to Paul George for a brief period of time, kind of an extended period, I should say, not really brief, but they had Paul George for a pretty good period of time, and then they traded off him to get as much as they possibly could in return, But with DeAndre Ayton, there's no trade. Phoenix has a couple days to match the offer if they want to, and potentially lose him for nothing. So there you go with the Phoenix Suns and that franchise blowing and squandering pretty much grand opportunities in the last 2 seasons specifically, getting to the NBA Finals a couple years ago, and then not even getting to the conference finals this past year, and blowing that opportunity that they had well in hand with the best record in the NBA this past season. But getting back to the Indiana Pacers, this is a franchise that has not won an NBA championship. They did win 3 ABA championships, to be specific, but they did not win any in the NBA when the merger happened, but they also did make an NBA Finals appearance back in the year 2000, losing in 6 games to the Los Angeles Lakers in that series. So for the Indiana Pacers, they definitely want to build a strong contender going forward in the Eastern Conference, which is becoming more competitive, as we see from in years past, in the decade of the 90s specifically. That was the last golden era of the Indiana Pacers, and they kind of finished that off with the finals appearance in 2000. But is this going to mean that they're going to be able to make finals appearances more often going forward in the future, now getting a guy like DeAndre Ayton? Leave a comment below, and if you like what you see in this video and on this channel, like and subscribe, and make sure you hit that bell to get notified when all the latest videos are posted on this channel, whether it be at YouTube, BitChute, Rumble, or Odyssey. On the other side for free agency, in the NHL that just got started and is underway currently, is Johnny Gaudreau. Where was he going to go? He's the highly touted top available free agent, unrestricted free agent in the NHL from the Calgary Flames. He's just coming off a 115-point season, I believe, this past season for Calgary. That's a team that he's been with his entire career thus far, and it was announced the day before free agency began that he was not going to be returning to Calgary. He was going to be exploring free agency, but I should say that's not to say he was going to outright just leave Calgary in the dust. But Calgary had no intentions really of bringing him back, with him exploring free agency, and he signed with the Columbus Blue Jackets to the tune of a 7-year, just under $70 million total value of that contract with the Columbus Blue Jackets, which on its face, it's a good deal for Johnny Gaudreau. He's getting paid just under $10 million a year for the next 7 years of his pretty damn good hockey career, you could say. He's had a pretty good one so far. I'm not going to say he's a Hall of Famer downright, but he's one of the best ones available right now that can instantly turn around a franchise. Is it going to happen in Columbus? we'll see. They have a lot of other holes they need to fill, and going forward, their depth is kind of concern, but they have good pieces in place that could become a contender long-term in the very competitive Eastern Conference in the NHL. But Johnny Gaudreau is going to go to Columbus. This is a franchise in a similar fashion like with the Indiana Pacers that has not had a lot of storied, sustained success in the league. In the NHL, the Columbus Blue Jackets, they've made the playoffs a handful of times, about half a dozen to 7 times, I believe, in their franchise history. But at the same point in time with them, they have never gotten past the second round in any of their Stanley Cup Stanley Cup playoff appearances. The Columbus Blue Jackets haven't been there. Is Johnny Gaudreau that guy to get them to that level? Well, again, we shall find out. But hey, if you like this move, if you're a Blue Jacket fan, obviously you probably will. On its face, this is a franchise player that's now going to be playing in Columbus, Ohio for the next 7 seasons. It's a good move for them. I don't know about long-term success, if this is really going to be the one move that turns everything around, but it puts a face to this franchise that they haven't had for some time. You can go back to Rick Nash. That was probably the last major player that was the face of this franchise for the Columbus Blue Jackets. You could also make the argument for Sergei Bobrovsky, who's now netminding for the Florida Panthers as their goaltender. But for Columbus, this is a solid move. I don't know if this is going to be an immediate winner, but it definitely puts them in the conversation for a team that could be up and coming going into next season. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe and hit that bell below to get notified when all the latest videos are posted on this channel, whether it be at YouTube, BitChute, Rumble, or Odyssey. Bookmark westofsportsguy.com for that podcast link. All the social media links, the MLB All-Star rosters are live at westofsportsguy.com, and I will see you next time.